defeat in the MAAC tournament.
And the men's team looks to clinch its first MAAC title and make history in Atlantic City.
And we'll come back to Hamden for the ECAC quarterfinals for the men's ice hockey team. Can they beat Brown?
All of that coming up now on Sports Paws.
Welcome inside Studio 125 for a special 45-minute playoff edition of Sports Paws. My name is Ben Rickovicius, and I'm joined alongside Tony Wetmore. The MAAC basketball tournament did not disappoint this year, Tony. We had some down-to-the-wire finishes.
Yeah, Ben, the games we saw in Atlantic City showed just how competitive the MAAC conference is. But before we head down to New Jersey, Quinnipiac dominated the regular season awards for the second straight season. 3 Bobcats were named to all conference teams. On the women's side, first-year sensation Gal Revive was named to the All-MAAC first team for the second straight season. Forward Anna Foley returns to the All-MAAC second team, and Captain Jackie Grisdale earned third-team honors after averaging 10 points per game.
In addition to the first-team nod, Revive didn't just run away with Rookie of the Year, but was also named Player of the Year. It's the first time in conference history that a player has won both Rookie and Player of the Year honors.
On the men's side, 3 Bobcats received conference team nods. First-year standout Jaden Zimmerman was named to the All-MAAC rookie team. In addition, double-double threats Paul Otieno and Amari Monroe were named to the All-MAAC first team.
And in his second season with the Bobcats, Monroe was able to bring home the Player of the Year award back to Hamden. Monroe averaged 18 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 steals per game.
And to round things out, both Quinnipiac men's and women's basketball head coaches Tom Pecora and Trisha Fabry were crowned Coach of the Year. Fabry guided her team to the number 2 seed with an 18-2 conference record, and Pecora claimed the regular season title with a 15-5 record. The 2 seed gave the Bobcats a first-round bye, but let's take a look at how the rest of the bracket shook up.
Despite ending the regular season on a 6-game losing streak, the 10-seeded Iona Gales upset St. Peter's in the opening round 42-40. The locked 3-6 matchup is the Merrimack Warriors and Siena Saints. The Bobcats swept both teams in the regular season.
In the other first-round matchup, the Manhattan Jaspers defeated Canisius 52-42, a tall task ahead for them in the 25-4 Fairfield Stags. Marist and Mount St. Mary's battle in the 4-5 matchup. The Mountaineers beat the Red Foxes to end their regular season. Iona's upset over St. Peter's set up a date in the quarterfinals with number 2 Quinnipiac on Wednesday. Quinnipiac. It's versus Iona, the 3rd matchup of the season for these two, and Quinnipiac swept the season series. Carson Martin in the first quarter gets the ball off the screen from Grace Labarge and connects the left wing 3. Aaron Leary with the ball trying to back down. Gal Revive spins and gets the layup to go. Iona keeping pace, but it's 8-6 Bobcats. It's Martin from deep again, wide open 3 up top. She buries it. Bobcats up 6. Second quarter, Revive heaves it to the captain, Jackie Grisdale. She'll hit the straightaway 3, and Quinnipiac widens the lead. Now Revive takes it herself. Inside layup, the Player of the Year making it look easy. Bobcats up by 10, but Iona's not giving up. Talia DiPentrio up top lets the 3-ball fly and knocks it down. But Revive, not done, answers mid-range jumper from the elbow, automatic. She erupted for 12 points in the second quarter alone. Bobcats lead by 15 at half. In the second half, Quinnipiac just kept on firing. Paige Girardi off the bench sticks the 3, and the bench could not be happier for their teammate who had 8 points in the game. Quinnipiac up 24. Revive inside now beats the double team, 23 points and 7 assists for the first year, and Quinnipiac blows out Iona in the quarterfinal round 79-51. Great game for Ella O'Donnell as well off the bench, and the Bobcats would advance to the MAAC semifinals. Then the Bobcats handled business in their first game of the tournament, but other teams were battling it out for a chance to move to the semifinals.
Let's take a look at some of those other teams. Start to the MAAC tournament.
Stags and the Jaspers, number 1 versus number 8. Nitson Amar driving the hoop, gets the tough layup to fall. It's a 1-point game. Fairfield, with 1:30 left, Megan Anderson hits the shot over 2 Jaspers, and the Stags pull away 58-51.
Next day, Marist versus the Mount. Red Foxes were down by as many as 25 points, but they're on the comeback road. Under a minute left, Jackie Pittick drains the 3, and Marist is only down by 1. But Gabriella Kennerly Gotta ice this one at the free throw line. The Mount survive a ferocious comeback. They win 68-65.
Number 6 Merrimack versus number 3 Siena. Paloma Garcia starting off with some shifty handles on the perimeter. She'll drive inside and scoop the lay, celebrate big as the Warriors go up big. And later on, her teammate Talia Shepard pick and pop from the wing off the handoff from Madison Roman, and it's nothing but net. Shepard with a career-high 27 as Merrimack holds off Siena 79-72 for the upset win.
Pretty entertaining first round. The Bobcats defeated the Merrimack Warriors twice in the regular season. Could they make it 3 times this season for a trip to the championship game? Bobcats trying to get back to the MAAC championship game for the first time since 2019. Who stands in their way? It's Merrimack, and it's March, so anything can happen. Let's go to the first quarter. Paloma Garcia finds an open lane, drives to the basket, lays it in. The Warriors up early. Later, Lydia Melashenko from the corner connects from 3. Warriors up by as many as 7. Bobcats worried, but Ella O'Donnell sparks off the bench, hitting this floater. She's having a great tournament. And then Gal Raviv tries a 3, misses the shot, but O'Donnell grabs the board, spins around, and will lay it in. Merrimack only leading by 4 after 1. In the second, Garcia finds former Bobcat Rose Casso in the corner, and she drills the triple right in front of her old bench. And Carson Martin on the other side drives around the defense and hits this layup in stride. And she can facilitate 2 guys. Finding Anna Foley open inside, she'll finish it off the glass. The Bobcats break out to an 8-point lead at half. After the break, Raviv drives baseline, showing off the moves, hits the reverse layup through the tough defense, and then she'll find Foley inside, working against her defender. First shot, it's not gonna go, but she muscles her way up there for the rebound, gets the putback plus the foul. Bobcats up 13. And on the other end, Foley gets the rejection, and the Bobcats are gonna go out and run. Raviv finds a lane, gets the penetration, and sinks the floater. Quinnipiac up 6 entering the fourth. Foley finds LaBarge on the cut. It's just too easy for the senior. All Bobcats in the fourth. And Raviv inside, shake and bake her defender, finishes off the glass with the contact. She scores 23 points again as Quinnipiac holds off Merrimack 65-51 to advance to its first MAAC championship since 2019. A nice 14 points in the win for Ella O'Donnell. The other side of the bracket came down to the wire as the Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers looked to knock off the defending champs. The Mount, down 30 seconds left. Anna Lamaster drains a big 3 in front of her own bench to take the lead in Fairfield. They strike back next possession. Katie Lamro hits a beautiful reverse layup off the baseline. Fairfield only down 1. Mount's last chance. Gianna Hodnott gets stripped by Lamro to seal it, and the Stags outlast the Mountaineers, winning 49-48. The Stags, they're back in the MAAC championship game.
Q30's Brittany Brown-Lieben has more on how the strength of the Bobcats' non-conference season prepared them for their championship matchup.
The Quinnipiac Bobcats will be heading to the MAAC championship game. The last time they appeared in this game was back in the 2018-19 season. No Bobcats on the roster have ever played in the championship game. How has the season helped them prepare for this moment?
You know, I tout it all the time. Our non-conference is vital. It's vital to, playing big teams, beating big teams. Everyone's talking about the Ivy League women and all their bids and everything, but we've beaten them. And we've gone on the road and have taken care of Vermont's playing in a championship game. So, we do that every year. It's part of our philosophy. So it gets us ready for these moments in the games in the conference going forward. So it's one day at a time, but we know that where we wanted to go and get to, and it's great that they've been able to accomplish what they've accomplished to date, but they're not satisfied.
Despite the Bobcats' young core who battled in non-conference matchups, the team learning to play together helps with their lack of age and experience.
Obviously, we haven't played. We're a young team, but we can make veteran plays, and it's what we've been talking about all season. So, Gal, credit to her, always knows how to, get the game in her hands at the end of the game. And we obviously don't blow it out of proportion. Yes, it's a MAAC championship, but we know we got here for a reason, and we know we're going to do great things. So, obviously, don't overcomplicate it, and we're just going to go win.
Gal Raviv entered her 3rd game of 20-plus points after defeating Merrimack. Coach Fabry noted how important her impact has been for the team and how the 2024-25 season compares to her other championship seasons.
Gal has made such a difference in our program. I think she has elevated us to those teams back when we were on the three-peat run in 17, 18, and 19. And 2 overtime losses. So we've been really dominant, and I think it's really on those same levels when you had Jen Fay and Sam Guastella, and teams of those calibers were right there with them.
The Quinnipiac Bobcats will be playing against the #1 seeded Fairfield Stags on Saturday at 1:30. This game will be up here on ESPNU. Reporting from Atlantic City for Q30 Sports, I'm Brittany Brown-Lieben.
We've got to take our first break of the night, but when we come back, meeting Quinnipiac in the championship game is in-state rival Fairfield for a much-anticipated third matchup with the MAAC championship trophy on the line.
It's going to be a good one. Plus, beat reporter Connor Cord joins the show to discuss his takeaways from the women's side of the MAAC tournament and what will be next for the Bobcats. Sports Paws, we'll be right back.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing to keep us focused.
A habit we never skip, to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mental health. Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Buckle up! Nobody is more prepared for an emergency than Dogman.
With all your kung fu skills and your K9 fortitude or whatnot.
But for the rest of us, a good plan goes a long way.
Come on, let's go!
So, whether it's an unexpected disaster or the world's most evilest cat bent on destroying all do-gooders,
Destroy all do-gooders!
you can help your family be ready for anything.
No time to waste. Will you get out of here?
Get started today at ready.gov/kids.
Did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. On Saturday, it was a battle of #1 and #2 for the MAAC trophy. It's the two heavyweights in the conference clashing for the third time with the March Madness bid on the line. Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall is rocking for the opening tip. Starting in the first quarter, it's Anna Foley feeding Carson Martin off the cut, and she scores. Quinnipiac striking first. Later, Ella O'Donnell inside pump fake, fools her defender, and nails the reverse layup. But Fairfield would match every Quinnipiac basket. Jillian Herder spins around and sinks the jumper. We're tied at 15 after 1. Second quarter, it's Katie Lambro, filthy move, and the contested layup goes. Fairfield erupts for a 10-0 run. Revive misses the three, but grabs her own offensive rebound. Jab step, and heat check. She connects. But Quinnipiac just can't stop the bleeding. Herder swings it to the corner. Megan Anderson rises up and nails the three-pointer. Fairfield takes a 15-point lead going into halftime. In the second half, Quinnipiac trying to claw back, fully inside with the mismatch, gets double-teamed but still finishes the layup. Then Foley will swat away Lambro's shot, but the Stags get their own offensive rebound. It's Sydney Scott on the wing, and she hits the dagger. Next play down, Anderson, corner, same result, Fairfield up 12 after 3. And now heading into the fourth quarter, shot clock winding down, Lambro off 1 foot, and she drains it. Everything is going the Stags' way. Now with Scott again, corner, she sinks it. Fairfield made 15 threes in the game. Fairfield Stags go back-to-back in the MAAC, punching their ticket to the NCAA tournament. It's a blowout victory, 76-53 the final, with Anderson scoring 27 and Scott a perfect 6 for 6 from 3, while Revive led the Bobcats with 17. Winning back-to-back titles is quite the accomplishment. Q30's Connor Core has more on the emotions of the game and how Fairfield pulled it off.
The confetti has settled and a trophy has been raised, and the Fairfield Stags are back-to-back MAAC champions in women's basketball with 6 total in the program's history. Coming into the game, Fairfield only made 3 shots from behind the arc in the semifinal round, but in the championship game, shot from 50%, and Quinnipiac had no answers from the three-point line. Trisha Fabry of Quinnipiac has had her fair share of consecutive championships in the MAAC and credits Fairfield for what they've accomplished.
Winning is hard, regardless of what you're trying to do in a single game. And then winning to get into the NCAA tournament is even that much harder. So credit to them. They will represent our conference very well in the big tournament.
For the players, you could see the emotion of their faces as they try to savor every last moment of what is, at this point, a 28-4 season.
I'm trying to approach it today with a lot of pride of what the season was. We had a lot of great moments, and this team is something special, and it always will be. So it sucks to be in this position right now, but we also have to give credit to Fairfield because they played an outstanding game today.
Fairfield got back to their winning ways after not being able to find dominating success in the first 2 tournament games.
Our captain Isa at the beginning of the game was like, this could be our seniors' last game. Like, this is our last opportunity as a team if we don't show up to do so. Like, I took that very personal because I love these girls, I love the staff, and I would run through a wall for them. So for me, it was really just, I want to keep this season going as long as possible to be with them as long as I can.
Carly Thibault-Dudanis knew it was going to be difficult to get back to the point that they're at now, but always knew the team's potential.
We used the number 33 a lot over the summer and spring. That's how much we lost to Indiana by in the NCAA tournament last year. And it was just constantly a reminder that we want more. And we're not done. I really, truly believe that. We're excited to see who we draw, and I know this team is hungry for more.
Looking ahead to Sunday's selections show, the Stags believe they have the resume to be an 11 seed in the upcoming tournament. Only time can tell where the Stags will be putting on their dancing shoes. Reporting from Atlantic City for Q30 Sports, I'm Connor Core.
After the tournament, 2 Bobcats were named to the MAAC's All-Championship team. Junior forward Ella O'Donnell and Player of the Year Gal Revive both represented Quinnipiac on the squad. O'Donnell had a fantastic tournament, scoring double digits off the bench in each game, while Revive was the leading scorer in each game for Quinnipiac. Out-rebounding the team was Merrimack's Talia Shepard and Mount's Joe Raffalo and 3 Stags, Brianna Brown, Katie Lamrow, and Megan Anderson, who was the MVP. After defeating the Bobcats in the championship game, the Stags drew a 12 seed in the NCAA tournament and take on number 5 Kansas State in Lexington, Kentucky on Friday. As for Quinnipiac, its season isn't over yet, as they received an invite to the WBIT tournament and will play Seton Hall in the Thursday's opening round. The Pirates lost to Creighton in the Big East tournament and have an overall record of 22-9 this season. It'll be Quinnipiac's first national tournament since the 2022 WNIT, where the team made it to the second round. Now joining us on the desk is one of the women's basketball beat reporters, Connor Core. Welcome back from Atlantic City, and thanks for joining us, Connor.
Yeah, happy to be here. Always a good time when we get to talk basketball, and especially Quinnipiac women's basketball. You mentioned it; their season's not dead quite yet, so ready to talk a little bit more about it.
All right, Connor, what did you see from the women's team in Atlantic City?
Yeah, down in those 3 games, you saw a lot. You saw those first 2 games in the quarterfinals and semifinal matchups where it was a lot of what we saw and expected in the non-conference and the conference games for the Bobcats. A 26-3 record coming into the tournament. They blew out Merrimack by 28, Iona by 28, beat number 6 Merrimack by 14. Gal Revive continued to shine. There's a reason she won Rookie of the Year and Player of the Year. They've had a lot of inside-out game where they were able to drive and kick. They shot almost 36%, which is right around their average from behind the arc, and Ella O'Donnell as well from the inside, like you mentioned, Ben, earlier. Had a great game, especially in those first 2 games where she shot 75% from the field, 10 for 15. It's just not something you hear of. In that quarterfinal game, she went 5 for 5. It's just a great opportunity for Ella O'Donnell, those first 2 games especially, to get it rolling into that championship game against Fairfield.
And what does Quinnipiac need to do against Seton Hall in the first game of the WBIT to be successful?
Yeah, I know. When you look at that game against Fairfield, it does kind of feel like a one-off. You know, Fairfield, there wasn't much you could do against Fairfield when you're shooting 15 threes and making all of them. Sydney Scott went 6 for 6 from behind the arc. But when you look at this game against Seton Hall, you have to make sure to run them off the 3-point line. They're not shooting as well as Fairfield did throughout the season, only 27%, but their last 3 games of the regular season, they shot 35%. So they have to make sure that they're running them off the line. Even though they might not be shooting the ball well throughout the entire season, you don't want Seton Hall to be shooting well as in that game in the WBIT, but they need to dominate on the glass as well as we go forward talking about this matchup a little bit more.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, Connor. We've got to take another break here on Sports Paws, but we'll be right back with the men's basketball team's postseason journey in Atlantic City.
And we won't just be talking about the Bobcats. We've got everything covered for you on Boardwalk Hall. You'll have to stay tuned for some of that action. It was a thrilling MAAC tournament. Really exciting finish on the men's side. We'll be right back on Sports Paws after this commercial break.
Elmer loves to giggle.
Emma's mommy taught him that laughing can help when you have a big feeling, like when you feel happy. Make sure to celebrate when you're happy and laugh it out. Love your mind.
Everyone has a ritual. That small thing we do to keep us focused.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game?
To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health.
Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health.
Find the resources you need to keep your mental health a priority.
Love your mind.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. Thanks for sticking with us. With the women's basketball team coming up short, it's time to see if the men's team could capitalize on another historic regular season.
But before we dive into the games, Ben, let's look at the tournament bracket. In the opening round, the Ryder Bronx and Tariq Ingram were able to beat the Siena Saints in a close one, 78-76. Ingram had 19 points and 13 rebounds, including the eventual game winner. And in the other opening round matchup, it was a battle of Connecticut rivals with the Sacred Heart Pioneers topping Fairfield 71-58. Amari Stewart and Tanner Thomas's double-digit efforts propelled the Pios to the win. Sacred Heart drew number 2 seeded Merrimack in the quarterfinals. Ingram and the Bronx haven't seen the Bobcats since January 25th, where they lost the second matchup of the year to QU. Ryder trying to shock the MAAC and bounce the Cats in the quarterfinals. Ryder coming off a thrilling win over Siena in the first round. Tariq Ingram hit that game winner with less than a few seconds left. The Bobcats got their hearts broken the last time they were on this court. They're looking for a different outcome. In the first half, Ingram working against Paul Otieno inside, but the pass gets stolen away by Savion Lewis. Coast to coast, how about a little Euro step finish for Lewis for the basket. Quinnipiac on top early, and then Ingram gets the ball from Ruben Rodriguez and slams it all over Amari Monroe. Ryder keeping pace early, but Quinnipiac gets it back. Pick and pop for Monroe. He gets revenge on Ingram. Green light from the top of the key. Player of the year type stuff from Monroe. It's Caden Bennett time. Same spot, same result. The sophomore connects from 3. You're not having deja vu. Bennett does it again. He knocks down the triple. He had 3 of them in the first half, and seconds left in the first half. Bennett drives inside and finds a streaking Ryan Mabry inside. He beats the buzzer through the double team. The Bobcats are going into half on a high note, up 43-27. And now we go to the second. Alexis Reyes is going to start this thing off by backing down Flash Burton. The fadeaway jumper. He hits it and he hits the deck in the same time. And Ryder really trying to battle back. TJ Weeks Jr. gets Bennett in the air, connects from 3. And you know what? He'll do it again. Rodriguez with the rebound off a missed free throw finds Weeks in the corner and he drains it. He'd finished with 23 points. And then it's Lewis for the Bobcats, driving inside, stays inbounds as he tippy-toes on that baseline and finds Jaden Zimmerman to cut to the lead. And a nice finish. Quinnipiac runs away with it 78-64, the final score. The Bobcats advance to the MAAC semifinals behind 23 points from Monroe, 14 from Lewis, and 13 from Bennett. Quinnipiac punches its ticket to the next round, but there were a ton of other MAAC quarterfinal matchups.
There sure was. Let's take a look to see whose seasons lasted another day. Number 7, Sacred Heart, and number 2, Merrimack. Amiri Stewart forces overtime at the free throw line, so Merrimack's down 3. Bud Clark, pump fake pass to Davon Savage in the corner. It's all knotted up at 62, and then Clark's going to do it himself. Drives inside. How about the shifty step back from the elbow? Merrimack advances 66-62. Matt Bax with a clean 21 points.
Next day, number 6, Mount St. Mary's versus number 3, Marist. Mountaineers in the lead late. Dola Adebayo off the cut. Slam dunk extends the lead to 4. Xavier Lipscomb, next possession, inside and 1 finish. That would do it. Marist couldn't muster a comeback. Emmett S. Berg flexing the muscles. Mount moves on 62-58.
Got to get the the mascots involved. Rivalry matchup up next. Number 5 Manhattan, number 4 Iona. Iona trying to pull away late. DeJour Reeves, he had 6 triples in this one, including that last one. And freshman Adam Jai Jr. drives inside, the mid-range shot from the elbow. The dagger, he had 16. Iona wins it decisively, 77-65. Yafet Mundi had 25 points as well for Iona.
Quinnipiac and Iona ended both of their regular season matchups by a possession or two with QU on top, and Iona was looking for revenge. Quinnipiac in the MAAC semifinals 1 year after its loss to St. Peter's last season, while Tobin Anderson and the Iona Gales look to knock off the MAAC's top seed. And the Gales start off with a bang. Yafet Mundi finds Jalen Barr on the outside. Barr drives inside, lets it rip like a Beyblade around Savion Lewis and sinks the lay. Lewis on the other end finds Alexis Reyes. Pull-up 3 is good. Close one early, but Iona just starts to roll. Adam Jai Jr. gets to his spot and sticks the mid-ranger. It's 9-6 Gales. Then it's DeJour Reeves driving from beyond the arc and flying inside for the layup. Quinnipiac is struggling on offense, but Alexis Reyes once again pulling up from mid-range, and he will rattle it home. Quinnipiac down 10 at the half, 41-31. Second half, Bobcats looking for a comeback. Lewis on the loose ball gets it to Jaden Zimmerman, who slams it home with force. Lead still 10 for the Gales. Jai Jr. and Mundi down low. He gets Paul Otieno jumping and scores, but Zimmerman will respond in a big way. He gets the green light from the top of the key, sinks the shot. He had 15 in the second half, and it's crunch time for Quinnipiac. Still trailing, but Doug Young is able to force Reeves to turn the ball over. He'll find Amari Monroe ahead for the slam. Bobcats tie it up at 57 with 8 to go, but Iona just can't be stopped. Jai Jr. somehow gets the pass through to Mundi. He gets around 2 Bobcats and scores again. Iona gets back in front. Jai Jr. again near the elbow, puts Bennett in the popcorn popper with a step back dagger, and it's heartbreak for the Bobcats once again. Iona upsets number 1 Quinnipiac 81-73, ending its championship dreams in the MAAC semifinals. 23 for Reeves, 21 for Jai, and a double-double for Mundi. The Gales advance to their 8th MAAC championship in the last 10 years.
The Iona zone just proved too much for the Bobcats to handle, but with the Gales stunning the Bobcats in the semifinals, the slippery Bud Clark and Merrimack Warriors battled Mount St. Mary's in the other semifinal game. It was a one-possession battle for all 40 minutes of this one. The Mount played a fantastic defensive game and won it on clutch free throws from Orlandis Keys and Dallas Hobbs, upsetting the number 2 Warriors 57-55. The Mount advances to its first conference title game since joining the MAAC.
And another heartbreaking loss in the semifinals. The team was emotional post-game. Q30's Nick Boyd has more.
Heartbreak doesn't get any easier the second time around. For the second straight season as the number 1 seed in the MAAC, the Bobcats were eliminated in the semifinals round, this time by the Iona Gales. Iona led by 10 at the half, and the Quinnipiac battled back to tie it in the second. They never were able to get momentum fully back on their side.
Another decorated Bobcats team, another emotional semifinals loss. Despite the pain, head coach Tom Pecora tried to put things in perspective.
Tomorrow sucks. You know, I've had a lot of them, you know, and it's not a great feeling. Look, you know, no one is more competitive than I am, but as I share with these young guys, and it's important for me as a leader and as an educator, which is what I see myself as, even as I coach, this isn't life and death. It's devastating on an athletic level.
Despite missing out on the NCAA tournament once again, Pecora is grateful for the year he and the Bobcats had.
You know, I wanted to win this for them. I'm a made guy, man. You know, I'm 67 years old. I coach basketball. You know, think about it. That's crazy. You know, my father was a longshoreman. This is a great school and just a great opportunity for me. And to be around these kids, it keeps me young.
The disappointment and emotion were visible on the face of every Bobcat after the loss. Captain Amari Monroe took the loss especially hard, holding back tears in the postgame.
We didn't follow our game plan, and it showed. So, you know, we got to learn from it. Like Coach said, no one died, you know, but obviously this one stings. But, you know, we have to move on from it and learn from it. I love all these guys, you know, and take this team over, a lot of teams I've played for.
In the wake of the loss, the Bobcats now must look forward. Many of their key role players could get transfer offers over the offseason.
Pecora says that looking forward, the job is now re-recruiting and rebuilding for next season. For Q30 Sports,
Tony,
I'm Nick
I think
Boyd.
it's time for another break on Sports Paws. But when we come back, we'll take a look at who won the MAAC and who will be advancing to the big dance. It was a tight finish in Atlantic City on the men's side. I'm surely excited to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And someone who can speak to that is Q30's Nick Boyd joining us on the desk to review how the men's basketball team did in Atlantic City. You'll have to stick with us here on Sports Paws after the break.
Reporting from the Grove for Q30 News.
Reporting from the Miller Library for Q30 News.
Reporting from the Mount Carmel campus for Q30 News.
Reporting on Whitney Ave for Q30 News.
Gracie and Pedro might not get along so well.
They're standing on my tail.
But there's one thing they agree on. There's a right seat for everyone.
Oh, that's the good stuff.
Whether you're a dog,
Hold on, Pooch.
a cat, a fish, or a rat.
And I'm a ferret.
Be sure to travel safe.
How can you be so sure? I'm absolutely positive.
On your next adventure, make sure your children are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
Welcome back to Studio 125. In true March fashion, 6-seeded Mount St. Mary's defeated the Iona Gales 63-49 and earned MAAC immorality. What a journey for first-year head coach Donnie Lind, who helped the Mount win its first conference championship since 2021. The Mountaineers drew a 16 seed and will get a first four matchup. American University, the winners of the Patriot League, will duel for a spot in March Madness. The game will take place Wednesday night in Dayton, Ohio on True TV. And the MAAC announced its all-tournament team after the Mount punched its ticket. Amari Monroe, who scored 20-plus points in both of Quinnipiac's games, was the only Bobcat on the team. Merrimack's Bud Clark, Iona's Adam Jai, and DeJour Reeves, as well as Dallas Hobbs, Arlandis Keys, and Dola Abadio from the Mount, rounded out the postseason team. Adebayo took home the tournament MVP award. With Quinnipiac eliminated from the MAAC tournament, a 7-year collegiate career ends for Savion Lewis.
Beckett Calkins has the story on one of the greatest point guards in Bobcats history.
There have been plenty of great faces to wear a Quinnipiac uniform over the last decade. Among those is 7th-year point guard Savion Lewis, whose time as a collegiate athlete has come to an end.
It feels terrible. Trying to hold my emotions right now. Just knowing that this was my last time playing with Quinnipiac, and I wasn't able to finish the job. But, I believe that left a legacy here for the young guys that they're going to carry on and be able to finish it in the next years.
While Pecora has created many lasting relationships with his players, Lewis stands out among the rest.
I will always have a relationship with Savion Lewis. He's close with me, my children, my family. And the same with most of these guys. Whatever they want, I'll be there for them.
Lewis knows best on what's special about Quinnipiac. And although he didn't achieve his goal of winning the MAAC, he left his mark in the locker room.
The people, from day one, they made me feel like it was home and made me feel like it was a family. And I'm very close to everyone that's came to Quinnipiac and everyone that's here right now. So the people is what makes it a great experience.
As fellow Long Islanders, Tom Pecora and Savion Lewis's roots are deeper than just basketball.
I knew him as a little kid, now I know him as a grown man. So we've had a 13-year relationship. He played for a former student of mine who I taught when I was teaching school in the mid-'80s, and he's great. He's going to be a hell of a coach. I keep trying to talk him out of it.
Despite Pecora's hesitation for Lewis becoming a coach, The Bobcats point guard is very passionate about the game of basketball, and we'll just have to wait and see on what he decides for his future. For Q30 Sports, I'm Beckett Calkins.
Now joining us back from Atlantic City is Q30's Nick Boyd to discuss the men's team's time on the boardwalk. How was Atlantic City, Nick?
A lot of great basketball, and I miss the food. I could really go for some crab fries right now, Ben. You put me onto that.
That or Saka subs right now. That's what I'm craving.
I did live on that for a couple days down there.
I only had 2 fries, so I didn't get to speak on that at all. But back to basketball. What went wrong for Quinnipiac against Iona?
Well, the first thing was Iona's game plan, right? They threw a zone defense at Quinnipiac. That's something they struggled against all year, and it really limited their opportunities inside. That's where the Bobcats thrive with their 2 big men in Amari Monroe and Paulo Tieno. That game plan forced the Bobcats to shoot the ball a lot more. They're not a strong shooting team, and when that forced them to play catch-up, it really put them in a bad spot. The second thing was just execution. Yafet Mundi really limited Paulo Tieno defensively, and shooters, Adam Jai, DeJour Reeves, they all played phenomenal. Almost every look they had was a great look, and they hit a ton of shots.
And Nick, with the transfer portal playing such a big part in college basketball now, what do you think this team could look like going into next season?
Yeah, well, we already know Savion Lewis has said that this year was his last. He has played his final game in a Bobcats jersey, and they're going to face return decisions from a lot of key players. A lot of speculation is about Amari Monroe right now. Tom Pecora said he got big money offers last season, chose to stay. We'll see if that's the same thing this time around. Pecora is having individual meetings with the guys. He had those earlier today. We'll have to see who returns. What we do know, though, they have a good incoming class. Lateef Patrick is going to be a fantastic piece next season. Keith McKnight, Jaden Reed, and Ty Turner should all be key rookies.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see who stays and who leaves. But just like that, Nick, it's time to take our last break of the night. Thank you for joining us. When we return, it's playoff hockey time this week. Men's ice hockey team looks to get back to Lake Placid. Eli Ehlers and Zach Naffa will give us all their insights.
Plus, Ben, I know you can't wait to see which plays made the cut for top 5 this week. We'll be right back in 90 seconds.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
No, I'm not gambling.
Live from the Piazza, it's Quinnipiac tonight!
Can't believe you're doing this alone.
I've done it before.
I remember. You threw your back out. How you holding up?
Hand me that board.
Nothing wrong with getting help.
I'm good.
I did it when Felicia left.
I'll figure it out.
I know you will, but you don't have to do it alone. That's all I'm saying.
If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence?
Now you need my help.
It can be a real pain sometimes, you know that?
Mm-hmm.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. Before we dive into playoff hockey, let's take a look at who represented Quinnipiac on all ECAC teams. 2 Bobcats were named to the all ECAC second team, forwards Mason Marcellus and Jack Ricketts.
In Ricketts' first season in the Navy and Gold, the Ontario native registered 14 goals and 5 assists over the course of 22 ECAC games. Marcellus is no stranger to conference awards. Last season, he was named to the ECAC all-rookie team, and this season he reported 8 goals and 14 assists during conference play for the Bobcats.
With the Bobcats winning the Cleary Cup, they received a first-round bye and hosted Brown in the quarterfinals round in Hamden.
Quinnipiac looks to get back to Lake Placid for the 4th straight season.
Number 1 Quinnipiac taking on number 8 Brown in the ECAC quarterfinals. Brown coming off a 2-3 victory over Princeton last week. Quinnipiac captain Travis Treelor getting ready to lead the Bobcats on another playoff run.
We'll start in the first. Davis Pennington fires a puck from the blue line. He misses. Jack Ricketts gets a chance on a rebound, but Brown's Lawton Zacher blocks it with his glove, and another look for Pennington, but Zacher, he swallows that look up completely. Great defense.
And they'll keep it scoreless, but later in the first, Cooper Moore finds Victor Chnesky. He's there to tip it in. Bobcats open the scoring. It's 1-0.
They'll keep it going in the second. Treelord gets the puck to the center of the ice. It's a 3-on-1. Treelord to Elliot Gronwald, back to Treelord, then to Jeremy Wilmer, who completes the tic-tac-toe goal, getting it past Zacher. QU up 2.
On to the third, Treelord will get a pass. He'll get passed by defenders. A big chance here, but it's denied by Zacher. Still 2-0 Quinnipiac.
And Mason Marcellus will bring the puck in the zone. He'll find Andon Serbone cutting behind the defense, and he'll maneuver Zacher to score. It's 3-0 Bobcats.
Across the ice, Max Scott on Brown will send the puck off into the net. Off the rebound, it's Tyler Koff who gets it past Mate Marinov for the score. Now it's 3-1 Quinnipiac.
Chris Pelosi tries to ice this one off a pass from Aaron Schwartz. He backhands it into the empty net. And the Bobcats take game 1, 4-1. Impressive win in the first game for Quinnipiac.
Now going into game 2, which would just be the very next day, Quinnipiac looking to wrap up a series sweep. It's Tyler Borgula getting loose, and he's going to look to make an impact in his second ever collegiate postseason game for the Bobcats.
Let's go to the first, Tony. The puck goes behind the net. Marinov collects it, and Brown Zachary Tonelli comes flying in. A huge chance. Saved in front of the net by Ryan Smith, who uses his body to block this shot. Scoreless in Hamden.
Later, Charlie Letty will miss this pass trying to clear it, but it goes right to Brown's Brendan Clark. He fires it on net. Marinov makes the stop. The puck is still loose. Marinov makes a pad save, ending scoreless.
To the second we go. Puck stuck in the corner for a good time. Wilmer's going to get it out, though, and he hurls a behind-the-back pass to Alex Power in the slot, but he's denied by Zacher. We're still scoreless.
And later, Anthony Cipollone brings the puck into the zone. It sends the puck across the ice to Borgula, who puts it past Zacher. Glove side for the score, 1-0 Cats.
Great chance for Brown's Ryan St. Louis. He gets a breakout pass. Got one defender to beat. He gets past him, but he gets denied by Marinov. That'll end the second.
And in the third, Gronwald fires a pass to Jack Ricketts, who finds Mason Marcellus, who will eventually get it past Zacher for the score, 2-0 Cats.
Let's keep it in the third period. Marcellus has the puck down low, scanning his options. Borgula in front of the net, and he'll add his second of the night, 3-0 QU.
In waning moments of the game, Chnesky will send the puck 200 feet into the empty net, seal the deal, and Bobcats win 4-0, sweeping Brown.
Yeah, it didn't take too long. That series could have gone 3, Tony, but the Bobcats handled business in Hamden, and just like that, only 1 goal allowed by Quinnipiac on the weekend. A pretty impressive performance. QU head coach Rand Pecknold was named one of the Coach of the Year nominations this afternoon. Pecknold led the Bobcats to a 24-10-2 regular overall season, and despite starting conference play 0-2, Pecknold helped the Bobcats win the regular season title in his 32nd year. The 2023 national champion looks to win the Whitelaw Cup for the first time since 2016.
Quinnipiac will now get ready for the ECAC Hockey Championship at the Olympic Center in Lake Placid, New York.
Q30's Eli Ehlers and Zach Naffa take a glimpse into the Bobcats' future in Placid.
Thanks, guys. The Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team will be heading to Lake Placid for the 4th straight year, and we're here to break it all down. Zach, take us on to the semifinal matchup.
Yeah, so top-seeded Quinnipiac, they're facing off against the lowest seed, 6th-seeded Cornell Big Red. They took down Colgate in the quarterfinals. And then on the other side of the bracket, 2-seeded Clarkson, overtime winning Game 3 over the Harvard Crimson. They'll face 5th-seeded Dartmouth Big Green as they defeated Union in the 4-5 matchup. So let's take a deeper look at Cornell, Quinnipiac's opponent.
Yeah, Cornell, they beat Colgate. They swept them in 2 games, and right now, Cornell looks really hot. Ian Shane is the player to look out for. Another thing to think about is Quinnipiac went 1-0-2 against Cornell in the regular season. They beat them at Lina, but then in the Frozen Apple, they lost in the shootout, and then they also lost at home in that shootout for the extra ECAC point. So it's been a very close series between the 2 teams, so it'll be interesting to see how that matchup turns out. But let's take a look at the other side of the bracket.
Yeah, on the other side, you got number 2 Clarkson. Did have a little bit of a scare there against Harvard. They won Game 1 3-2, and then overtime loss, and then an overtime win. So a very close series, but you see it. 4 of 6 players on the All-ECAC first team, and player to look out for Arten Martino. Just the best player in the ECAC almost all year long. A great team, very much a threat to win it all.
And on Clarkson, they'll be taking on Dartmouth, and Dartmouth, a lot of people, they started the season really well, started to go down, and now they're picking it back up. They swept the number 4-seeded Union in Schenectady. They won 3-2 in the first game, and the second game they dominated, winning 7-2. They are a very good team right now, and you have to look out for their sophomore defenseman, CJ Foley. Their ECAC record, not the best at 12-9, but they're getting hot at the right time, and I think they're a team that everyone needs to look out for.
Yeah, when you have a defenseman that's near the top of the conference in points, obviously you're going to be a scary team, someone that can get it done on both ends of the ice, and just overall playing a full 200-foot game from that team. So just looking into it a little more, who do you think is the biggest threat to Quinnipiac?
I think the biggest threat to Quinnipiac team-wise, I'm going to say it's Cornell. I think Cornell, they had some struggles at the beginning of the year. They started off the year really strong. The injury bugs started to hit them, and now they're getting their players back. Kyle Penny, their captain, was out for a little while, and now he's back. He's their captain. He's exactly what Cornell needs. And when you have a senior goaltender who has the experience like Ian Shane, Cornell won last year, and a big part of that was Ian Shane. So I think that's going to be hard for Quinnipiac. And who would you say?
I mean, I would probably agree with Cornell. You got Ryan Walsh, Sullivan Mack, and Dalton Bancroft as well in front. I do think you got to be scared of Clarkson. They beat them both times. But again, both games, very close, one-goal games. I think that could go either way. But that's going to do it for us as we took you through the Lake Placid preview. Back to you guys at the desk.
Ben, the freight train
choo-choo
in Atlantic City took another stop in Atlantic City this week. You know what that means.
Buckle up, crank the volume up, and get ready for a playoff-themed top 5 that are sure to get you out of your seats.
Let's go to play 5 on the ice. Anthony Cipollone sauces one to first-year Tyler Borgula, puts the puck over Lawton Zacker's glove. That would be the opening score for the Bobcats.
Let's keep the freight train in Hamden. Play number 4 on the ice. His shot comes across from the left wall, and Matej Marinov sprawls out to make a desperation save. Let's take another peek. Marinov shut out in the wind.
Play 3 on the boardwalk. Doug Young steals the ball from DeJour Reeves, slams it. Amari Monroe with that dunk.
Back to the ice for play number 2. Beautiful passing from Travis Strelor and Elliot Gronwald. And they're going to set up Jeremy Wilmer in front for an easy goal. I'm calling this one the Bermuda Triangle because any defender in it is getting lost and will never be found.
And play 1 as seen on SportsCenter. Gower Vive tries to lose a defender. She won't, but she'll throw up a prayer, count it, and the foul.
My
Bobcats
goodness.
take that matchup 79-51. Man,
What a shot
what a
from
shot.
Revive.
Absolutely. Now that's all the time we have tonight for Sports Paws.
To stay up to date, make sure to follow Q30 Television on all forms of social media. We'll be back next week with another edition of Sports Paws. Have a great night, Bobcats.